Your grocery list is hiding a critical warning, and it's far more urgent than you might realize. The reality is this: food shortages and skyrocketing prices are no longer a distant concern. They're becoming the new normal. But here's where it gets serious. 8 essential items you rely on every day could disappear from store shelves before the end of January. These aren't baseless predictions or media hype. They're backed by alarming data straight from supply chains, agricultural reports, and industry insiders. At Preppers Community, we've done the research to help you stay prepared and informed. Today, we're diving into the facts, and trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because the number one item on this list is so vital that its disappearance could disrupt millions of households, including yours. You don't want to miss this. Let's jump in and break it all down. Item 8. Wheat products. Bread, pasta, and cereals might seem like products that will always be on the shelves. But here's the truth. The U.S. wheat supply is at its lowest point in 15 years. And the reasons behind this will shock you. First, severe droughts in the Midwest, an area responsible for a significant portion of America's wheat, wiped out more than 20% of last year's crop. To make matters worse, global wheat exports have been severely disrupted. Ukraine, one of the world's largest wheat suppliers, has imposed major export restrictions due to ongoing conflicts, further tightening the global supply chain. Now, what does this mean for you and your family? Flour prices have already surged by 40% in just 6 months, and industry insiders are warning that supply levels could continue to plummet. This directly impacts everything from the price of your favorite loaf of bread to the pasta and cereals you rely on for quick, affordable meals. Why this matters? Wheat is a foundation of the modern food system. When its supply dwindles, the ripple effects can be catastrophic, affecting not just grocery prices but also availability. What can you do? Here's a quick tip. Stock up on dry pasta and baking flour now. These products are highly shelf-stable when stored properly in cool, dry places. And here's an insider trick. Consider vacuum sealing your flour to extend its freshness by up to 2 years. Don't underestimate this. Bread, pasta, and cereal may seem simple, but they're the backbone of most households. The time to act is now. And remember, it's not about hoarding, it's about being prepared. Item 7. Dairy products. Milk, cheese, and butter are staples in almost every household. But here's the reality. The dairy industry is facing a crisis like never before, and the effects are already being felt in your local grocery store. Why is this happening? Let's break it down. Feed costs, the backbone of dairy farming, have soared by 35% over the past year, leaving many small farms struggling to stay afloat. On top of that, extreme heat stress caused by record-breaking global temperatures has reduced milk production by a staggering 7%. This isn't just a local problem, it's a global one. Now, let's talk about the big players. New Zealand and Ireland, 2 countries responsible for 40% of the world's butter exports. Both are reporting their lowest yields in decades due to unprecedented droughts. Entire herds are producing less milk, and farmers are being forced to cut back on production. This is creating a ripple effect that's driving up prices and shrinking supplies. What does this mean for you? Experts are already predicting that butter prices will reach record highs by the end of January. Some regions are even reporting shortages, and certain grocery stores have quietly begun limiting purchases. What can you do? Here's a practical tip. If you spot butter on sale, buy extra and freeze it. Butter freezes beautifully and can last up to 6 months without losing quality. This small action could save you a lot of money down the road, especially if prices continue to climb. And don't stop at butter. Consider stocking up on longer-lasting dairy alternatives like powdered milk or shelf-stable creamers. These products are lifesavers during shortages and can be stored for months when kept in a cool, dry place. The bottom line: dairy products are essentials for millions of households, and the disruptions we're seeing now could have long-lasting impacts. Being proactive today ensures that your family won't feel the pinch tomorrow. Stay prepared, stay smart. Item 6. Canned vegetables. Canned vegetables have always been a prepper's go-to, durable, versatile, and easy to store. But here's the alarming truth. Even these long-lasting staples aren't immune to the challenges we're facing today. What's causing the problem? Let's take a closer look. California, responsible for producing 95% of America's processing tomatoes, has been hit by a double blow: record-breaking droughts followed by devastating floods. This combination has wreaked havoc on farmland, forcing farmers to leave thousands of acres unplanted and drastically reducing yields. Processing plants that rely on these crops are now struggling to meet demand, leading to supply chain bottlenecks that are pushing prices higher. And it's not just tomatoes. Crops like corn and green beans are also feeling the impact of erratic weather patterns and rising transportation costs, making canned goods more expensive and harder to find. What does this mean for you? Prices for canned vegetables are already climbing, and the shelves that once seemed endlessly stocked are starting to look sparse. Your favorite canned tomatoes for sauces, soups, or stews may soon become a luxury item, with prices spiking by up to 30% in the coming months. What can you do? Here's how you can stay ahead of the curve. Stock up on canned vegetables now. Most varieties, like tomatoes, corn, and green beans, have a shelf life of up to 5 years when stored in a cool, dry place. They're a smart investment, not just for emergencies, but also for everyday cooking. Consider diversifying your pantry. Alternatives like freeze-dried vegetables or vacuum-sealed mixed veggies can complement your stockpile and extend your prepper strategy. Why this matters? Canned goods are a cornerstone of food preparedness, but disruptions like these highlight just how fragile our food systems can be. By taking small, intentional steps today, you can ensure your family is ready for tomorrow's challenges. Pro tip: if you see a sale on multi-packs of canned vegetables, don't hesitate. Grab them while you can. But remember to check expiration dates and rotate your stock to keep everything fresh. Item 5, coffee. Can you imagine starting your day without coffee? For millions, it's more than just a drink. It's a daily ritual, a moment of calm before the chaos. But here's the unsettling truth. Coffee is becoming harder to find and even more expensive to enjoy. What's causing this crisis? The challenges are twofold, and they hit the world's top coffee producers, Brazil and Vietnam, the hardest. Brazil, which supplies 40% of the world's Arabica coffee, is reeling from its worst drought in 90 years. Entire crops have been decimated, and rising temperatures are making it nearly impossible for coffee plants to recover. Meanwhile, Vietnam, the leading exporter of Robusta beans, the kind used in instant coffee and espresso, has suffered devastating floods and extreme rainfall, wiping out 25% of their production. How is this affecting you? Coffee prices have already surged by 60%, and the ripple effects are hitting local shops and grocery stores. Some cafes are quietly limiting their offerings, and shelves once packed with your favorite blends are looking increasingly bare. Even major brands are struggling to maintain stock, warning of supply challenges in the months ahead. What can you do? Don't panic. There are ways to prepare and protect your coffee supply. Buy whole beans. Whole coffee beans have a longer shelf life compared to pre-ground coffee, retaining their flavor and freshness for up to 6 months when stored in an airtight container. Freeze your coffee. Here's a pro tip. Freezing whole beans can extend their shelf life for up to 2 years. Just make sure they're sealed in an airtight bag to prevent freezer burn and preserve flavor. Diversify your options. Consider stocking up on instant coffee or single-serve pods as backups. These products often have longer expiration dates and can be lifesavers during shortages. Why this matters? Coffee isn't just a luxury. It's an everyday comfort for millions of households. The disappearance of coffee from store shelves would be more than an inconvenience. It would disrupt a global industry and a beloved routine. Acting now ensures that you can enjoy your morning brew without worrying about skyrocketing costs or empty shelves. Pro tip: if you're serious about coffee, look for locally roasted beans or sustainable options labeled as direct trade. These products often come from smaller farms that are adapting faster to changing climates and offer a richer, fresher taste. Supporting local roasters also helps keep small businesses afloat during challenging times. The bottom line, coffee is one of the most vulnerable items on this list. But with a little planning, you can avoid being caught off guard. Stock wisely, and remember, preparedness is about staying calm and proactive, not panicking. Item 4. Cooking oils. Cooking oils, something most of us take for granted, are quickly becoming a luxury item. Whether it's for frying, baking, or drizzling over a salad, olive oil and vegetable oils are staples in almost every kitchen. But here's the harsh reality. These essential products are facing a severe crisis. What's causing this shortage? The answer lies in a combination of environmental and economic disasters. Spain and Italy, which together produce 70% of the world's olive oil, are experiencing their worst drought in over 200 years. Satellite images show olive groves scorched by unrelenting heat, and farmers have been forced to cut down centuries-old trees just to minimize their losses. This isn't limited to olive oil. The global supply of vegetable oils, like sunflower and canola oil, has been hit hard by rising costs of production and disruptions in key exporting regions. The result? Prices for olive oil have already more than doubled over the past year, and experts predict another 30% increase by February. Bottles that once cost $8 are now fetching upwards of $20 in some stores. Major retailers are quietly limiting stock, and some regions are reporting empty shelves as demand continues to outstrip supply. Why this matters? Cooking oils are an indispensable part of everyday life. Without them, preparing meals becomes significantly more difficult and expensive. This isn't just an inconvenience. It's a fundamental shift in how we approach one of the most basic aspects of food preparation. What can you do? Here's how you can stay prepared. Stock up on alternatives. If olive oil is your go-to, consider switching to avocado oil, which is highly shelf-stable and packed with health benefits like omega-3 fatty acids. Coconut oil is another excellent option, as it can last up to 2 years when stored properly. Buy in bulk. Larger containers of cooking oils often provide a better value and can be stored for longer periods. Just be sure to keep them in a cool, dark place to prevent oxidation. Support local producers. Farmers markets and local shops may have small batch oils that are less affected by global supply issues, and buying from them supports your community. Pro tip: when shopping for olive oil, look for bottles with a harvest date instead of just an expiration date. This ensures you're getting the freshest product possible, which will last longer and retain its flavor better. The takeaway? Cooking oils might not seem like a crisis item, but their disappearance from store shelves would disrupt countless households. By acting now, you can avoid paying sky-high prices or scrambling to find alternatives later. Remember, being prepared is about staying one step ahead. Item 3. Eggs. Do you remember the egg crisis of 2023? It felt like prices couldn't get any worse, but here we are. And this time, it's even more dire. The U.S. is facing a devastating avian flu outbreak, one of the most aggressive strains ever recorded. Entire farms have been wiped out, resulting in millions of hens being lost from the supply chain. But that's not all. Feed costs have skyrocketed by 40%, putting unbearable pressure on smaller farms. Many have been forced to shut down entirely, leaving larger producers struggling to meet demand. The result? Egg prices are climbing fast, and some grocery stores have quietly started limiting how many cartons you can buy. Now here's the question. How do you prepare for a potential egg shortage without breaking the bank? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Here's a simple trick. If you find eggs at a reasonable price, buy them and freeze them. Yes, you heard that right. Beat the eggs first, pour them into ice cube trays, and freeze them. Each cube equals 1 egg, and they'll last up to 6 months in the freezer. This method preserves their flavor and texture, making them perfect for baking or cooking whenever you need them. Why this matters? Eggs are more than just a breakfast staple. They're a key ingredient in countless recipes, from pancakes to casseroles. Losing access to them or paying exorbitant prices would disrupt how many of us cook daily. Being proactive now ensures you won't be caught off guard later. Pro tip: if you prefer to stock up long-term, consider powdered egg alternatives. They're shelf-stable for years, easy to use, and a lifesaver in emergencies. The bottom line? Eggs may seem like a small part of your grocery list, but their importance in the kitchen cannot be overstated. Prepare today to avoid headaches tomorrow. Stay smart, stay prepared. Item 2. Sweeteners, honey and sugar. Let's talk about sweeteners, something so simple yet vital in almost every kitchen. Here's the bad news. We're facing a sweetener crisis that could hit harder than most people realize. First, let's look at honey. The honey crisis is very real. American beekeepers reported a 48% loss in colonies last year, marking the worst decline on record. This isn't just about honey. It's about the wild bees that pollinate our crops. Wild bee populations, critical for the ecosystem, are declining at an alarming rate, leaving farmers and scientists scrambling to adapt. As a result, real raw honey is becoming scarce and expensive. Major retailers have started quietly limiting purchases, and prices for pure honey are climbing steadily. That 5-hour jar you used to grab without a second thought? It could soon cost you double, if you can find it at all. And now let's talk about sugar. Sugar isn't faring much better. Brazil, the world's largest sugar exporter, is diverting a growing portion of its sugarcane crops to ethanol production. Rising fuel costs are driving this shift, leaving less sugar available for export. The result? Sugar prices have already jumped by 30%, and experts are warning of potential shortages by early February. What can you do? Here's how to stay ahead. 1. Stock up on raw local honey. 1. Not only does local honey taste better, but it also supports beekeepers who are fighting to sustain their colonies. 1. And here's an amazing fact. Properly stored honey never spoils. 1. Archaeologists have even found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs that's still safe to eat. 2. Consider alternatives. 2. Maple syrup, agave nectar, and date syrup are all excellent substitutes for both honey and sugar. 2. Plus, they often come with added health benefits and longer shelf lives. 3. Buy sugar in bulk. 3. Granulated sugar has an indefinite shelf life if stored in an airtight container, making it an easy and practical item to stockpile. Why this matters? Sweeteners like honey and sugar are foundational to so many recipes and drinks. Losing access to these staples would fundamentally change the way we cook and bake. By taking small, proactive steps now, you can ensure your pantry stays stocked no matter what happens. Pro tip: when buying honey, look for raw or unfiltered varieties. They retain more nutrients and antioxidants, and some believe they can even help with seasonal allergies when sourced locally. The takeaway: sweeteners may not seem critical at first glance, but they're integral to your pantry and preparation strategy. Act now to secure these essentials before prices rise further, or shelves run empty. Item 1, orange juice. Here it is, the #1 item most at risk. Orange juice, a breakfast staple for millions, is facing an unprecedented crisis that could leave your mornings looking very different. What's the problem? Florida, which produces 90% of America's oranges, has just recorded its smallest harvest in nearly a century. The culprit? A combination of extreme weather and a deadly disease called citrus greening. This disease acts like a silent killer, infecting trees, weakening them, and making their fruit bitter and unusable. To make matters worse, unpredictable weather, ranging from hurricanes to scorching heat, has devastated groves that were already struggling to survive. The impact on you? Orange juice prices have already doubled in some areas, and experts are warning that they could hit $12 per gallon by February. Some stores are quietly limiting how many bottles customers can buy, and imported oranges from Brazil are barely making up the difference, thanks to soaring transportation costs. How to prepare? 1. Buy frozen orange juice concentrates. 1. They're more affordable, last longer, and can be reconstituted as needed, saving space in your fridge and money in your wallet. 2. Consider alternatives. 2. Tangerine juice or fortified plant-based drinks can provide a similar taste and nutrition profile, ensuring you don't miss out on your morning ritual. 3. Stock up strategically. 3. Check for sales on orange juice now and freeze what you can. 3. Bottled juice can last for months when frozen, so it's worth making the effort to secure a supply. Why this matters? Orange juice isn't just a drink. It's a symbol of normalcy and comfort for many families. But with groves disappearing and prices skyrocketing, this simple staple is becoming a luxury. Taking action now ensures you can keep enjoying it without feeling the squeeze on your budget. Pro tip: when buying frozen concentrates, check the production dates for freshness. And if you're purchasing bottled juice, look for options labeled "not from concentrate," as they often retain more flavor and nutrients. The takeaway: the orange juice crisis is a wake-up call. It's a clear example of how environmental and agricultural challenges can ripple through our food system, affecting even the simplest pleasures. Prepare now to keep your mornings sweet and stress-free. And there you have it, 8 critical grocery items that could disappear before the end of January. These aren't just predictions, they're real challenges that could impact your family and your daily life. Don't wait until it's too late to prepare. Start small by adding a few extra items to your cart each trip. And remember, this isn't about hoarding, it's about being smart, proactive, and ready for anything. If this video brought you value, give it a thumbs up to help more people discover this vital information. Share it with someone who needs to see it. Make sure to subscribe to Preppers Community and hit the notification bell so you never miss our weekly updates on how to stay prepared, informed, and ahead of the curve. Next week, we're diving into a topic that's just as critical: water supplies and what you need to know to stay prepared in 2025. Trust me, this is information you won't want to miss. Stay smart, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next one.